A little bit too.
Are you still camping?
It's been a tough recovery. I was out in the wild in survival mode.
Dude.
I definitely did mushrooms.
Oh, wow. That sounds fun.
Broke my toe. Actually, it was fucking...
You broke your toe.
I broke my fucking toe.
Was
you
it
didn't
the
notice
good toe
it?
at least?
It was on the bad foot.
No.
Right next to the bad toe.
Oh, my God.
I know.
You need to
This
stop.
poor foot. This poor foot. It definitely, there's something to do with like the right side. That's the masculine side. So there's something going on I need to look into in my like
You need
witchy
to get
book.
in touch with your inner masculine Jess.
I feel like
You're too squishy and
too feminine.
girly right now.
Really? Said no one ever.
Yeah. Said the comments section. They stay up here talking about, one fan wants to buy your chair.
My chair?
Yeah. So I feel like
Holler at me.
I feel like we should make that happen because we're actually going to be moving set in maybe a couple months. So
hit me up on OnlyFans.
The chair may be for sale. You might be in luck.
Anything is for sale.
Ah!
Anything at all.
At this
Everything
point.
comes at a price.
At this point, yes. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Two Straws.
Did you miss us?
You must have because you're here
I know.
and you're ready to hear all the gossip, all the stuff we got to talk about.
Are you recording? Did you
I'm
just
recording.
make sure? Did you just make sure you did it?
This is what happens when we miss a week. I'm like, oh, my routine. Did I hit record? Oh, God. It just hit me and I had to look at the.
I get it. No, I get it. I don't even remember how to do this anymore.
And I didn't even, I was staring at it for like 5 seconds. Like, wait, how do I tell if it's recording? Oh, God. It's been a day. It's been a week. But yeah, we're back. We went on some pretty wild separate adventures last week, which is why we weren't here last week. But I ended up going to Vegas for International Fight Week in 303, and Jess went out in the wilderness with our buddy Kat and had a spiritual awakening. I don't know. I actually haven't talked to you about it, but it looks like you did.
Do I look a little rough?
You look spiritual.
Or am I glowing?
Oh,
I look earthy.
you do.
Look like I was rolling in the dirt, swimming in the river.
That coaster was just so jealous of your stories. Like, listen to me.
my
yeah,
God.
no, you just look like you kind of had an out of body experience.
Oh, I did.
What did you do?
Well, we went up to Yosemite, and we camped out for 5 days.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was longer than expected.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just say yes to things. Actually, a lot. I say yes to things, and then I'm just like, yeah, I'll figure it out later. And then I don't really realize like what I've committed to. And I'm a very different a very different person when I agree to things as to when it's actually like time to go. So when it was time to go, I was like, I don't want to.
So basically, Kat trafficked you.
She kidnapped me and held me hostage for many, many days.
Oh my goodness.
Luckily, I love the outdoors. One of my favorite things to do is, get out on the trail and hike with my dog. She's a great adventure dog. And the best thing that I can do out in the wilderness is climb and jump.
Okay.
So there was lots of
just
climbing
like Butcher.
and jumping into water, swimming.
Nice.
And you just like rinse and repeat like all day.
Fun.
Yes.
All right. And you did that with the help of your little Super Mario mushroom?
Actually, I was not allowed near the water
Oh, good.
on mushrooms because you can like pretend you can think
thank
that you
goodness.
can like breathe underwater and
Oh.
drown. No, seriously.
Yeah, you turned to a fish.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I belong down here. I'm a mermaid. No, you're not. You're not at all. Stay away from the water. Stay away from things. Be supervised. Have a sober buddy.
Yeah, that's very smart.
Yeah.
I can
But
see you like breaking into song underwater.
I was so bummed because when I was tripping on mushrooms out in the wilderness, all I wanted to do was like roll around on grass, but there was only dirt. And so I was a little frustrated. I just really wanted to like get it all out. And then I was like, oh, we'll go for a walk. But I had just broken my toe that day. So, and
How'd
I was
you break
like,
your toe?
I didn't want to get my shoes wet because I didn't want to have to hike back in wet shoes because I have like those gnarly scrapes on my feet that are still healing. So I'm like, okay, I have to, be smart and I have to keep them dry during my hike. So I took them off, and then I was going to, pat dry and then put the bandages back on. And I stepped in the water because we all, we decided to go for a little swim at the end of the hike. And I stepped on a rock, and it was very slippery with algae and, all the river stuff. And I slipped on it, and I slipped into a much larger rock. It hurt so bad. And like peak pain, it starts about like 4 hours in, and then, goes on for however long.
And you had to hike back.
And I had to hike back. Yeah. Luckily, I have a very high pain threshold, and I know how to suck it up and put on a brave face. But it was actually really painful. I couldn't walk right. It really hurt.
Why didn't Braden and his friend carry you? That's what those young men are for. In case of emergency, use the strong child.
I know. I really should have thought about that, but I was trying to,
trying to tough it up. They do look up to you, so it's kind of hard. You don't want to. Be like, can you carry me?
I'm like, please help me.
I know you've known me since you were that, but now that you're this, you can handle it.
I can actually put you to work. They're actually, him and his friend are actually going to do some yard work for me.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
I'm putting the youngins and all their muscle and energy to work.
Oh, nice. Give me their card.
Yeah, right? Exactly. They can help you move. No, they need summer jobs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 100% available for hire.
Nice.
We'll talk to
Child
Kat.
labor.
Yeah.
This has been a horrible start to the show. Like trafficking, child labor. Oh, hot topics here.
How was Vegas?
Vegas is great.
Was it as cool as my trip?
I mean, less injuries and less drugs probably, but I still drank a lot more than I should.
Oh,
but
nice.
It was fun. I think the coolest part was being able to see a bunch of fighters that I'd usually be like, like on guard with my guard down.
What was the difference?
Just
mushrooms.
No, just chilling, just vibing, just enjoying being at International Fight Week, and just enjoying the atmosphere and seeing what was going to happen with the fights. And there was just a lot of people there. It was kind of like when we did that athlete retreat. I forget what years it was, like 2019, 17, something like that. Something like that. But they had the athlete retreat where all the fighters were brought in. Seemed like a really bad idea. Fighters were brought in.
I mean, it kind of was at some points.
Some points it was, but for the most part, every person that I interacted with, it was a good interaction.
Yay.
So same thing happened with the fight week. It's like a lot of people who like I had eyed at and not said anything to for a while. I ended up actually saying something to them, and then they responded very kindly. And I don't know, it was kind of nice to let your guard down a bit and just be friendly.
Very cool.
So it was fun. And a lot of random stuff happened. I got to interview a lot of fighters with the Serious Fight Nation. When I was riding to the arena, I was riding with Jess and Gaethje, and he was like, "Hey, can you keep a secret?" And I'm like, "Yes, what?"
No, absolutely not. Tell us. You're like, actually.
as I live tweet this conversation, and he's like, Dan Ige is filling in for Ortega. And I'm like, no way. At first, I thought he said that he was filling in. And I was like, no, you're not. You're drinking a Stella. Like, he's like, no, his whisper voice is very whispery. So he was like, no, Dan Ige, not me, Dan Ige. And I'm like, yo, no way. You're fucking with me. And he's like, would I lie to you? I'm like, I don't really know you like that. But it was a really great moment, So I got to share a lot of like these little fun moments with different fighters that I look up to, and the fights were amazing too. Like, I feel like I didn't really see what happened with the fights that I was there live for, because you know how that happens. You're getting a drink, you're talking to fans, you're like running to your seat, you're looking up, and then you like look at some commotion to the side, and then you miss like the big
something happens.
Yeah, or the friggin' cameraman's in your way. So I feel like I didn't get the best view of what was actually happening in the fights, but it was still a really fun experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I like hearing
yeah.
that.
It's like it was one of those fun fight because not every fight night that you go to is fun, because we've been to so many. But like the one that we went to in what was it, L.A. or Orange
Anaheim?
County, Anaheim. Yes, yes. Like that was like a very fun night. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
random encounters. I got my Usman hat when we
Yes.
walked by Usman and Francis Ngannou, and he was like trying to chat up Jess, and I got a hat out of it.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jess.
Great wing woman. I know.
Thanks for the free gear. But yeah, it was like one of those moments.
I love it.
Yeah. So what fight from 303 were you able to watch?
I was able to
in your
watch.
camp?
I was able to watch most of them.
Okay.
I missed, and I can't obviously because they're not releasing because it was on the pay-per-view. Is I missed MVP and Ian Garry.
Ian Garry, let me tell you what happened.
Tell me, because I heard there's a lot of controversy, but I have not seen.
Oh, is there?
I haven't seen any of it. I just heard there was controversy. They thought that MVP should have gotten it.
Okay.
So I haven't seen it though.
Well, I have to see. This is one of those fights. I was on my way to my seat when this fight was happening, but when I was watching it live, I kept thinking, "Man, he's losing this fight. Like he's MVP is not doing enough to win this fight." And I felt that way when he had his back taken, obviously, but then there was just a lot of moments where I felt like MVP was waiting a little too much, and then Garry was just kind of doing his thing, just hopping in, being the aggressor, but not really landing anything. So I felt like MVP just had to make something happen, a big moment happen, and that never happened in the fight.
Interesting.
So that's what I saw. And I think also when you have a fighter that people don't like, it's easier to see that they lost a close fight. Okay. You're always going to lean towards, oh, I'm not really a fan of this fighter, and the fight was close, so I think he lost. And it's controversy that he won because I don't like the fighter. Watching it live, I thought that he was winning the fight. Ian Garry was.
The only things that I read on the internet were that at some point...
Never read things there.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just like to...
It can't be trusted.
And then I go away.
And then let it go.
Because sometimes those trolls say some funny things.
Sometimes they're pretty astute.
Sometimes they are. Yeah. And sometimes they're way fucking off.
Yeah. So what were they saying?
They were just saying that Ian Garry didn't do enough with his positioning, and it was more stalling. So, but I didn't see it, so I have nothing to grasp onto and comment on. Right. It.
Well, same. A lot of it happened on the ground, so I was just kind of watching them and then watching the screen. But I don't know. I felt like he got the closest to finishing the fight. He had that choking really deep when he took MVP's back. He did some weird things too. Like at one point, it seemed like he pulled guard. He just kind of sat down and was like, "Come at me, bro."
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was a really strange fight, and I'm less excited about Ian Garry, the grappler.
So this was also the commenting that I heard after the post-fight press conferences. They said, please. They like him even less now because of the way he's going on and on about his win. And he's hyping himself up and he's talking himself up. They're like, please stop.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't a classic Ian Garry win. And I say classic even though he just got here. But the reason that people were so excited about him in the first place is because he has dynamite in his hands. Now he's fighting a lot more cautious. The better competition he has, the more cautious he fights. And with the Jeff Neal fight and now with this one, he has 2 back-to-back wins that could have gone either way that were very unentertaining.
It's the GSP effect.
Yeah.
Because and fair enough, I can kind of sympathize or empathize because, you start climbing up the ladder and you want to make sure that you're going to get where you want to go and secure that position.
Yeah.
For a title shot, you want You want to do it in an exciting way, but you want to get there. So you're going to do whatever it takes.
And he seems very business minded when he does interviews, when he's attempting to get under fans' skin. He's doing it very purposefully because he wants people tuning in for his fights. He wants people caring about what he's saying.
Well, it's like cookie cutter Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He sees that road and he's trying to emulate it. In my opinion.
Well, don't tell him that because.
Oh, come on.
That is definitely not what he's trying to do, according to Ian Garry. But he's doing a good job of making us pay attention and tune in, especially in the off chance that he might lose his next one. I think the more exciting matchup you give him, the less exciting the fight's going to be. So maybe we should give him someone super boring next. I'm like, who could it be? Who could it be now? We gotta look at the.
I like that song.
We gotta look at the rankings. But it was kind of a dud. But I feel like that was the only dud on the card.
Mm-hmm.
The next one was Marya Buena Silva versus Macy.
My pick.
Macy Chiasson. Well, you're lucky that you picked, or I'm lucky. That you picked Jiri for the main event.
I know, and honestly, like I did not think he was going to win, but I thought it was his best chance, and I was like, fine, because it's so boring to pick the same people.
We need to do odds next time. We need to do odds,
Okay.
so we both pick odd, or we pick 3 different winners. So there's a tiebreaker.
There you go.
Yeah, but we did that last time, and the one, I don't know, we won the one, lost one, and then. I don't know. Something happened. No, we didn't. Okay, so if we pick 3 different people, then we'll be good.
Yes.
Okay.
We got to do that next time.
That's what we're going to do next time because I'm dying to make an Ortega Lopez pina colada. That sounds so fun.
My version of it is different than yours, so
Oh,
I'm
is it?
excited. Yes.
What is your version?
Well, I'm just going to make it up.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, if you get to make it up, so do I.
Well, you still have
It's
to
only
use
fair.
Ortega and Lopez.
That's fine.
Okay.
There's just going to be, some extra bells and whistles.
Oh, God. All right. Well, can't
'Cause
wait to see them.
if you don't remember, and if you haven't heard it on this podcast before, I used to bartend.
Oh,
Yes.
at a bikini bar.
Yes, at a bikini bar.
You got to serve it to me in a bikini.
Oh, I will.
But yes, the fight that you picked. How did you know that bitch was gonna win?
I just had a feeling.
Oh,
I just had a feeling.
tell us about that feeling.
Well, I think she's been steadily improving herself.
Mm.
And I think she's been really impressive with, her range and just how she mixes things up and how well-rounded she's becoming. And after Marya Buena Silva's last performance against Raquel Pennington, I felt like I just saw some things that Macy Chiasson could capitalize on. And she did.
Yeah, loss of focus.
A little bit. Maybe. Who knows?
Try not to get yelled at again. I agree, but I felt like that was a one-off, or I felt like
Because of the
before this
cut?
fight, not because of the weight cut. Well, I felt that Marya Buena Silva not performing well against Raquel
Could have just been
Pennington.
because of
the
the
moment.
circumstances.
Yeah,
For sure.
all that stuff. The fact that it was a title fight and she had to go 5 rounds and all this other stuff. And it was a scrap. It was a good scrap. This one was.
Mhm.
But it did seem like she would have those big bursts that would usually get her the win. And then it didn't get her the win. Macy was still in front of her, still scrapping, and she would just sink.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Did you see that too? There was like an energy dump after every big moment that she had just because Macy was still standing in front of her.
Of course, that is very frustrating.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit out of a fighter every time that happens if something doesn't work, and then you have to kind of, compose yourself. You have to get your energy back up, and then you're going to try and explode again.
Mm-hmm.
And each time it just, you don't recover as well. the next time and the next time, the next time.
Usually not usually, but you'd want to see a better poker face though in between those moments. And it felt like very obvious that after every big exchange, she just and back up into the fence and then allow Macy to get off on her. So I was surprised that it ended the way it did though. I thought we were going to get more back and forth. Maybe someone would land something big, but I was surprised that Macy was able to slice her open with that elbow.
That was a nasty cut.
Yeah.
And I know she was complaining she didn't want it stopped, but that was a very well placed big slice that would have obstructed her vision and probably would have ripped open even more.
Yeah, so you agree with the stoppage?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And I know that that's, probably not popular, and I know that's not what she wanted, and I completely understand it, and I can respect that she was arguing it. However, that thing was huge.
Yeah, it was nasty. I agree with it too. That thing, you could almost see into her brain. It was like what happened with you when you got your third eye opened and in the wilderness. The same thing. She could see into dimensions.
All of them.
Oh my God.
Parallels and parallels.
Oh.
All the colors. It was beautiful.
Someone needs to do an edit where the elbow hits and just rainbows come out.
It's beautiful.
It's so
beautiful.
Oh, look at the colors.
Oh my God, take me there.
Yeah, that was a really nasty cut, and kudos to her for arguing it. But that would have been a horror movie if they allowed that fight to go on and Macy started jabbing that thing.
Oh my gosh. And it's such a big target.
Yeah.
Of course.
It was her whole eyebrow.
It was. And as soon as she stood up and, she was arguing, it just started gushing. Like, that's not, it's not going to get better.
The cut went,
I feel for her. It's hard coming off of a loss and wanting to, showcase what you've been working on and win and, kind of like erase that last one. So my heart goes out to her. I feel for her. I do.
Yeah.
It's just, really unfortunate where that placement was.
Yeah. Yeah. And kudos to Macy for finding it. It's not often that, especially for females, you're able to get a big gash like that from guard. That was really impressive. And part of it's her frame, right? The fact that she has these, when she bends her arm, it's the same reach as a lot of girls we fight.
Yeah. she has a wingspan.
Her arm bent is longer than Corey McKenna's.
Leave Corey alone. I'm telling her.
And Molly McCann's. But love you, Molly.
I'm telling her too.
But that wingspan had to have had something to do with the fact that she was able to place an elbow that normally you're not able to get a lot of damage off of.
And it was impressive too because Marya Buena Silva has sound ground. Mm-hmm. So for her to feel comfortable enough and strong enough and secure enough to start striking from a closed guard against a very dangerous grappler, I thought that was very impressive in itself as well.
Yeah, it shows the growth that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Macy. Sorry I doubted you.
I'm telling her too.
The next fight on the card was who was that? Who would that?
We had Anthony Smith and Roman Dolidze.
Oh, what'd you think of that one?
I thought it could. Well, I thought it could have gone one of two ways,
oh, okay.
And so I did go with Anthony Smith because he's a vet, and sometimes my picks are, strategic to be, aligned, so I'm not losing too big, and some of them are because I'm, the old dog in the fight, and I want the old dogs in the fight to win.
You bet with your heart.
I do. I do, to get me in trouble sometimes. I don't. Yeah.
Well, I actually thought that he was the better fighter. It wasn't just wishful thinking.
But the thing
for
is,
the old person to look good.
The thing is, sometimes he doesn't show up the way, like, I know he can. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know exactly what the difference is, but sometimes he just doesn't do all that I believe he can do, all that I've seen him do when he was champion, coming up into the championship belt. And so I just didn't know. It was almost kind of a coin toss for me.
Yeah. And it was kind of the other weird thing about the fight was that Dolidze, he was coming up in weight. So you weren't really sure how big he was going to look against Anthony Smith, if he was going to be able to compare with him strength-wise, if his aggression would be the same with a longer guy, because Anthony Smith's pretty long. So a lot of those variables made me think, okay, I think Smith should have his number, especially because he comes in kind of wild, too. So for Smith to do his thing, kind of counter and wait for the opportunity to shoot and score, I thought that he would be able to do that. But
I thought that Roman would have a tough time getting past the range because he has traditionally as well. But he looked like he was able to, just get past it and nullify it a lot easier than, I mean, obviously he went back to school and started, working on all the things that he needed to after his last outing.
Yeah. No, it was a good showing. Good showing. I wonder if he tries to stay there or if he's just comfortable popping in real quick to save the card, help save the card.
I would go back down.
Yeah, right?
His frame, I'd say, is better suited at 170.
He still looks small in there.
He does.
Against Anthony.
Yeah.
Next fight on the card. And one thing I want to point out, when you look at the fight card, there are more canceled fights than fights on the main. Like, you have Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree, canceled. Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, canceled. Jamal Hill versus Carlos Ulberg, canceled. Anthony Smith versus Carlos Ulberg, canceled. And then the last one, the most heartbreaking, Ortega versus Diego Lopez, canceled. What the hell?
I know.
This card was cursed. It might have been the most cursed main card pay-per-view.
What did somebody do to make it cursed like this?
You should have saged that arena.
I feel like after UFC 300, we were just kind of doomed.
Yeah, because it went okay, right?
Yeah, it was just so good.
Yeah.
It was like 3 cards in one. Every, like, the prelims and the main could have been, their own. Like, everything could have been a main event in that. I think that we just used up all of our good juju.
You know what the difference was? They offered $300,000 for the fight of night bonus. The bonuses were all $300,000.
Damn.
That's what it was. That kept everyone. They wrapped themselves up in bubble wrap. They took their pills. They went on their antibiotics early so they didn't get staph. Like, everyone made sure that they were on top of their health so they didn't miss out on that $300K.
I would have done the same.
Yeah. See, Dana fucked up. He should have said that in the press conference. Oh, but how about homeboy? Who is it? The guy, the media guy who keeps suggesting to Dana during the press conferences, oh, hey, you should make it $300K this time. Oh, hey, you should give out 6 bonuses.
Who is that?
This time he said, oh, hold up, I have it in my notes. But this time he said to Dana, you should make the bonus $303K.
Oh, I heard that, but I didn't realize that it was the same guy.
It's the same guy. He keeps trying to get us paid. So, wait.
Well, we like him. I want to know his name. I want to send him something.
We love him.
Send him some mushrooms in the mail.
I know. We should slip him little notes like, hey, ask for this. Ask for that. Say that instead of $50K bonus, you get a new house.
I would love that.
Yeah, I got to figure out who it was, but yeah, dude. Mike Bohn. Mike Bohn is the guy. Thanks.
Well, I love him now.
Thanks, Mike Bohn.
Good job.
I was saying Bohn right. But yeah, he keeps doing that, and then he said the 303 thing, and then Alex Perriera ended up getting a 303 bonus.
He doesn't need that though. He does fine.
I mean, I do feel bad that no one else who got a bonus got 303K.
Oh, what? What about everybody else?
But he did do something ridiculously risky. I mean, we're talking about Ian Garry shitting the bed against exciting fighters, but still winning, but not taking risk. Alex Perriera showed up on 2 weeks' notice, cut 22 pounds. That's not the impressive part. The impressive part that he was willing to put up his belt on the line with 2 weeks to prepare for some guy who has been plotting his revenge since they fought. Like that's the really impressive thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he was able to show up, do that, and put on a clinic on 2 weeks' notice, like, it's insane. I wasn't like on the bandwagon, but now I am a full rider.
No, I'm a huge fan. I was extremely excited about him coming into the UFC. I'm not mad about his trajectory and how fast he's, gotten these opportunities. I think it's well deserved. I think his body of work is so impressive. It does worry me that he's talking about going up to heavyweight because all the people in heavyweight are gonna take him down.
They're all wrestlers.
And
even if they're not wrestlers,
they're gonna be.
Yeah,
they're gonna be. On fight night, they're gonna be a wrestler.
Hey.
But it's crazy. I think it's so impressive what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's one of a kind.
He is, and he started pretty late.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't born into Muay Thai. He wasn't born into the kickboxing scene. He actually started in his 20s,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Like that's insane to have that amount of fights, to have that amount of ability at his age. Kudos to him,
Mm-hmm.
and just like zip right to the top of the line and hold it down, not zip up there and then hang out for 2 years. Keep the belt under his fireplace, not let anyone touch it. He actually defended it, pops in, short notice, defends it. Why not?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's really cool. So let's not talk about that fight yet. The next fight on the card was not Diego Lopez versus Brian Ortega, but Diego Lopez versus Dan Ige.
What, 3 hours notice?
Dan Ige,
he's my hero,
is the biggest G in the UFC.
That is absolutely insane.
The biggest G. Like I said, the thing
He got a house, he got a car.
Yes.
He gets to use that plane anytime he wants.
He probably got 303 under the table.
He's
tax free. Tax free, brother.
We hope so.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Right a season will cover we'll cover the taxes.
Oh man.
It'll
That
be
is
a
so
write-off.
impressive.
It's crazy. So I was like, how did they make this happen? But apparently they called him up. They found out that Ortega was too sick to fight. They called him up. His coaches figured it out. They all met in different spots in Vegas, went to the arena, and Ige was able to perform his physical. I think the fact that he was ranked at that weight class made it so that the weigh-in wasn't necessary. He probably had to weigh in at like 155 or something, or close to that. But yeah, that was so crazy. I don't think that's ever happened. Not that soon. Not that quick.
No way.
Yeah.
That's got to be a one and done.
Yeah.
I thought they said he weighed in at 165 though.
Okay.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, but I mean, poor Diego Lopez. What a gamer.
I know him
to go from 45 to 55 to fighting at 165 at a catch weight.
Yeah, it's some random person. Some random person he probably didn't expect to fight.
Hard hitter.
Who's a harder fight, in my opinion, on short notice. Because that guy is always game. He's always down to fight. He's a hard hitter, like you said. And I think he was getting ready for something. Or
yeah, at the end of this month, I believe.
Yeah. So that's a scary matchup. And Diego Lopez is a relatively new guy in the UFC, so he's always going to be at that, that experience deficit. Even though he's had a ton of fights in the UFC at that high level, he's always going to be at an experience deficit now that he's cracking into the rankings.
So do you think that he should keep with that trajectory, or do you think he should try and get the smarter fights? Because he is relatively new in MMA.
I mean, for him, because he's so exciting, because he's so explosive, I think the more that he keeps people guessing, the better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the trajectory for him to keep fighting higher and higher. It's just to do that on short notice, you're giving the edge to the veteran.
Sure.
Because they're going to have more experience of just switching things up mid-fight, being able to adapt to things that aren't working that you thought would. And Lopez is just kind of like one gear. He just goes forward. He tries everything. He resets. He tries everything again. And that was a close fight. Like there were some sketchy moments where I was like, oh, Ige, man, you're fucking G. Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope that they do run the Lopez and Ortega fight back.
I did.
I was really curious about what that would look like.
Mm-hmm.
Preferably both of them with full camps at 145. I would love to see it.
You think Ortega's going back?
Or he said he's going to 155. Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
So I guess we may not ever see that fight, which I would have really liked to have seen it.
Sorry, Jess.
I know.
You're never gonna see it again.
Damn.
Much like Ortega's never gonna see his boo thing again.
Oh.
That went far, far away and
damn.
Kind of ruined him. I felt like she did a number on him, right?
Maybe. But I mean, he's moved on. He's, back with his family. No.
Oh, did he have family before?
Yeah.
He met her?
Yeah. He's got 2 kids and an ex.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he got back with them.
Dang.
Yes. He's on the path of rebuilding.
Yes.
Yes.
With his church. With his men's church.
Aw, don't make fun of it. Hey, men have emotions. They're allowed to show emotions and express themselves.
That's great. I love that men have emotions. I feel like this is the type of church that preaches to men that they don't need emotions.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It was really the way that he explained it. He said, this is a church where men get to be men. And they don't have to worry about what other people say. So that makes me feel like they just want to be not PC in front of a bunch of other guys. Be guys. And those guys don't have emotions. They don't cry. They just kind of throw it up.
I figured it was one of those places where it's a safe space and you get to go be with men and bond and, talk and share feelings. And sometimes if you need to scream and yell, they have a lot of those retreats for guys now where you can, just go into the wilderness and build things with your hands and hunt and fish, chop wood.
He definitely is there because of her.
Well, maybe.
Fucked him up. She fucked him up.
Maybe.
I mean,
maybe.
He let go of that ass.
And now it's gone.
It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what he's crying about the whole time. You should have seen it. We see it on Instagram all the time.
For free.
In person.
Aww.
It's like the Grand Canyon. Doesn't look the same. Photos don't do it.
One of the wonders of the world. Isn't it one of the 7 wonders?
It is. According to MMA fans.
It's pretty impressive. I've seen it in person too.
Rotund.
Yes.
Glorious. So I wonder who Ortega is gonna get down with if he moves up to 155.
Well, I did hear Dana White say that he wants Ortega to get his head right, basically. He says he thinks that he's not in the best place to be fighting. So when he gets to that place, they'll reevaluate, which I agree with. I mean, not knowing anything, if somebody is publicly, you have, what's his name? The boxer, Ryan
Garcia. Yeah.
Who's been kicked out of boxing, basically. Kicked out of boxing.
He's kicked out of boxing. Yeah, what the fuck, man?
For racial slurs, the organization does not tolerate that, so he was kicked out.
But it's also a mental health thing. If he's doing things that stupid, there's obviously something wrong with him.
Well, and the lead up to the fight was a circus, and after the fight, it's been the same. So
nonstop.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and Ortega definitely seems a little off now compared to before. And then, was it his church guy or his pastor or something who was on in the embeddeds and he had the tape over his mouth and he's doing like
I missed that episode.
cardio with tape over his mouth.
But that's kind of like a weird
like
new
a
wave
mask.
thing that people have been doing. Like back in the day, like 10 years ago, they invented the training mask to simulate, this it's supposed to be almost like high altitude, which it's not high altitude.
Yeah, they ended up debunking it, but the idea was that you can do a hard workout with less oxygen that you normally are able to do with.
And they've been saying that so I've been given the tape and I cannot breathe through my nose as it is. Like I can't.
Same with me in springtime.
Yeah. No. I do not breathe well out of my nose at all. I always have sinus issues all the time.
Yeah.
So if you put this tape over my mouth, like I'll die. So I'm not one of those like tape on the mouth people, but they've handed it out at like strength and conditioning sessions that I've been to. They've done all these things to try and get people to breathe through their nose because they're saying that breathing through your nose is more efficient for, cardiovascular output or, for your body to, get rid of lactic acid. There's all this like scientific stuff about it, but none of it has actually been proven. So I just think it's very like hinky and new wave, and
you're like, I can take it or leave it. Show me the studies and then
sprints are hard enough.
Yeah.
With
oh my God, sprints with tape on my mouth. I'd throw the tape.
You couldn't make your little duck sounds.
That.
Exactly.
No, I would just open my mouth. Like I don't. The tape would not hold this duck.
Yeah, but it is a thing.
Okay.
It is a thing, and I mean, it's, I don't think it's proven.
Okay. See, I was watching that, and I'm over there thinking about poor Diego Sanchez and his nut job of a coach.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, God, they got another one of us. But I'm happy to hear that that's more of a normal thing than I've assumed.
It's not something I'm buying into.
No.
People
but
can try it and let me know how it goes. And even if it goes great, I'm not doing it. I'll die.
We're adults. Just because you tell us to do it doesn't mean we're going to.
I'm way too rebellious for that.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. He said the head thing, getting his head straight. I wonder what Dana saw that specifically that made him jump to that conclusion. But I feel like I don't know, you can see a change in a fighter a lot of times. Sometimes they're coming in, they're excited, they're speaking clearly, everything makes sense, and then next time they come in they sound a little punchy or just a little out there, not really communicating in the same way. And yeah, you never know what's going on with them. There's a lot of mental health issues in MMA. There's a lot of, I don't know, just things that people don't like talking about because it doesn't make you a tough MMA fighter, which is maybe why he felt the need to go to a men's retreat. You get to let that stuff out. But yeah, I wonder what that was that he picked up on, that he was just like, yeah, this guy's not ready to fight. It could be the weight cut too. It could have just been the fact that he signed a contract that he obviously couldn't uphold.
And it could be. And I appreciate and respect that, our boss man cares, to an extent.
He cared enough to give me a ticket.
That's nice. I didn't get a ticket.
Thanks. I did. I tried to get an extra one. He was like, no, you can get 2 to Powerslap.
Tell me about Powerslap.
Powerslap was fun.
Paige Van Zant debuted.
So I was mad.
Oh.
As soon as I watched the first Powerslap match because I was into it.
Stop it.
And
Angela.
I've talked so much shit.
I can't with you.
About Powerslap.
Stop it right now. I'm upset.
I've talked so much shit about Powerslap, but it's like when you walk into one of those regional MMA shows and you have Pudge versus Fudge. Like one's 400 pounds, one's 500 pounds, and they fight each other, and it's literally 5 seconds of action, and you're like, this is amazing. That's kind of what it felt like.
Angela, no.
It just touches on all the primitive, disgusting things that people are into. It's basically ow my balls from Idiocracy. Like that's basically what it is. But they did what they could to make it look like a sport. So they have like the beginning coin toss. Then they have their little power slap cushion that the person has to hold on to behind their back to make sure they don't block the slap. Then they allow them to.
Are you guys hearing this?
No, there's rules to this. I didn't think there was rules. I thought the only rule was don't flinch and get slapped. Like that's what I thought. But they actually tried to make it look like a sport. And when I saw the crowd there,
how many people were
I
there?
was so disappointed. It was like like more than an Invicta card. Like it was like, because you know they have that little arena in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
It was packed. Like a stadium seats up to the, I forget which the Fontainebleau. They have like a little theater there, and the entire thing was packed.
Wow.
Yeah. I was in VIP. VIP wasn't as packed.
Of course you weren't.
But the bleachers or the nosebleeds were definitely filled to the brim. So I was just like, man, Vegas is trash. Vegas is trash, and Dana is giving this trash exactly what they deserve. More trash, and I fucking loved it. Like,
stop it.
I know.
Oh my God.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed.
You should be.
It looks like in person, it makes more sense than the clips.
Okay.
Like in person, they have like a whole procedure to it. It looks like a weird, like, I don't know, ritual or something. It was really strange. But I am a huge fan of Dumpling. He's my favorite power slapper.
I can't.
His name is Dumpling.
can't.
He's from Russia.
Stop. Stop it.
Did
you get one of his shirts? You
I
didn't you? You didn't
didn't.
you?
But next
You tried to fight somebody when they were like had that little t-shirt gun, didn't you? You jumped over them, didn't you?
Maybe that should be our next bet. Whoever loses has to buy the other person a, what's his name, Dumpling shirt.
Oh my God.
But Paige is like surprisingly good at it. So I feel like, especially with female MMA fighters, we have a high pain tolerance, like you were saying, with your broken toe. And we know how to clinch. We know how to like stiffen the neck. We know how to twerk with our punches. So female MMA fighters will actually thrive in this because I think a lot of girls don't understand how to knock out or not get knocked out. So that whole, okay, you got to take the hit without blocking. I don't think Paige took any damage. She ate 3 hard slaps, and was just like, eh. And she slapped the shit out of the girl and made her drop down to her knee.
Damn.
Yeah.
You know, I asked Dana when it first came out, or when it was like first being developed and, you know, becoming popular. I asked, I was like, can UFC fighters, can UFC fighters do it? And he said, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But then that one guy who, I think it was Eric Spicely, he thought about doing it, and they offered him like 2 and 2 or something. Oh. But you know, Paige is getting paid a lot more than that.
She got paid way more, and she deserves it. She has a huge name.
I mean, I think that's why the arena was packed. The one that was at the theater was packed.
For sure.
She was definitely part of it. Everyone in my section was rooting for Paige. So, yeah.
She probably brought him in.
She definitely did.
So were there weight classes for that?
I believe so. But I think they're a rangy weight class. Like, Paige looked a little bigger than the girl, but I'm not sure if they weighed in or anything. I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention. I stayed for Dumpling and Paige and then booked it. But that was enough. That's all I needed to see.
And now she's hooked.
And now I'm hooked. I'll go for Dumpling and Paige only.
Oh, my gosh.
Watch that. So we didn't talk about the main event. which we should do right now before we get into our exclusive members early content.
Oh.
If you're
Have you joined yet?
You should join. If you want to get that bonus episode a little sooner than all the regular schlubs on this page, make sure you go hit the join button. It's only $2. Well, not even
$1.99.
Yeah, it's cheap, super cheap. But anyway, before we get to that, we should talk about the main event.
Shall we?
Gone.
Do it. I'm gonna.
Oh, speaking of do it.
Oh,
guess
did
who,
you make friends? Are you besties now?
Yeah,
Are you following each other?
Yeah, I think we're on our way. So that was one of the people I was talking about. So I think when Dana gave me a seat at UFC 303, he gave me one of Claudia Gadelia's seats. Because I was sitting right next to her. And all my friends know that me and Claudia Gadelia, we haven't really spoken since we didn't speak before, but after we fought, she just kind of avoided eye contact a lot, never really looked my way. And I kind of wanted to see how long it would last. And then finally, this is, when did we fight? 2020? Finally, 4 years later.
You know what? Girls have a long cooling off period.
Hey,
it's just how it is.
I was always ready to accept a hello, but I didn't go first. So maybe it was my fault too. Maybe I should have met her halfway. But I would literally peer at her, and try to look inviting. And then she just...
I remember running into her at the PI with you, and there was just this weird awkwardness.
she Mr. Magoo's her way around me like I'm not there. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's like there's a green screen and I'm wearing a green suit. She's
females are very different than male fighters. Like, male fighters can beat the crap out of each other and then go have a beer, and it's not like that with most female fighters.
But I'm like that. I am.
She's so lovable.
I'm like that, but at the same time, I get it. I get when you're just kind of fuck you. So,
so now you're besties.
So now we're besties. So we were sitting, our seats were assigned next to each other. I got there first, and then she came up, and I was looking fly. I feel like that had something to do with it. I had a little cute shirt on, my makeup done. I was looking all cute by myself. And she came up, and I was like, hello. So I feel like if I had said hello all those times before, then that would have happened a lot sooner.
Okay.
But I made it comfortable for her to ignore me by not saying hello and just staring at her like a weirdo. So this time I said hi, and she said, oh, hello, hi. Oh, you look so pretty. I was like, oh, thank you. You look pretty. And now we're besties.
Aww.
So there you go.
That's all it took.
Beef squash. Just tell a girl she's pretty and she won't care about all the other
All
shit.
it's forgiven.
But yes, do it. The do it comes from when she was on the show
Ultimate
of
Fighter.
Johanna. Yeah. She would say that. Or no, I think it was just one clip that
it was just one clip that repeated throughout the whole season, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, do it. Do it. So it's one of my catchphrases now. Stolen from Claudia. But yeah, do it. Tell us about the main event. What'd you think?
Well, I was not surprised how it turned, even though I did pick Jiri to win. I thought it was his best opportunity. If it was going to happen, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
That night.
Yeah.
It did not. But it was impressive how he tried.
He did try.
He did. He really did. And I mean, for all of his efforts, Perriera was just that much ahead of him.
Right.
He just hits so hard. It's crazy because Jiri is a very dangerous fighter, and both fights he fought him the same way. He waited, he took in everything, he got his timing, and then the second round is, when he started to go in for the kill.
Yeah.
And in the first round, I think that's when Jiri was most dangerous in the first fight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's just so impressive what Perriera did. It
It
really
is.
It's so impressive.
A lot of people were thinking that Jiri was winning the second round in the first fight until he got knocked out.
Yes.
But from what I saw, Perez just had his number then. Like, winning by pressure, not winning by scoring damaging shots, you know?
Well, he was able to pressure him to get the cage. He was able to take him down.
Mm-hmm.
And Perriera, like, he was patient and calm, but there was no urgency to get up off the ground.
Yeah.
It almost looked like he didn't have the tools, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he's much improved. He's, fast learning curve, thanks to Glover Tech Share.
I know. Well, yeah, I think he popped up pretty fast in the first fight, but the fact that Jiri was able to get him down was kind of wild because you don't usually see him going for the takedown right away. And yeah, in this fight, he didn't even get close. Like there was a little success in the back and forth kind of pitter patter and filling out of the fight, but there were no big moments like we were talking about earlier with the Ian Garry one. And then out of nowhere, Perriera lands this huge
Head kick.
lead hook. Well, at the end of the first round, and then huge head kick right at the bell of the second round. Like, oh my God, because everyone was still reacting to the hook. And then, like, everyone's like, oh my God, did you see that? Oh my God, what's going to happen?
No, he was saved with the bell.
He was saved by the bell. And then first strike that's thrown at the beginning of the second round, boom, drop. The drop was so nasty.
It really was. And I think that hopefully these two fights will be a good learning experience for Jiri. I think that there's a lot of strength and power and success in how unorthodox he is, but he leaves himself very open to dangerous opponents like Perriera.
And that's a way that it could have gone with someone who gets that trajectory that Perriera has gotten.
Sure.
You can come out and just freak people out, and people don't know how to deal with you. They can't really get time to assess your timing and your skill set and everything because they're too busy getting hit by you. And you get a bunch of knockouts, you get to the top. But the difference between him and Perriera is that he was able to continue to grow, continue to change his style. And Jiri, I feel like, kind of plateaued at the top, though, which is still super impressive. But he's kind of plateaued, and this is his style. He is a damage sponge that can deliver twice as much damage back to you. And if you're able to get out of the way, if you're able to see it coming, then you can beat him up.
That's just a style that's just not sustainable longevity wise.
But at the same time, look at how he did against Rakic.
Sure.
Like, he destroyed him.
He did.
So this is a style that's going to beat a lot of the top guys, but maybe not beat the very top guys. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but also, he said he had staph when he was in his dark room.
What?
Not taking his antibiotics. You gotta take it with food, Jiri. You're over there fasting for 3 days with staph infection. What are you thinking?
No water? You can have water in the dark room.
What was he doing?
You can have water. Maybe
What
no
were you
food, but you
doing?
need water and antibiotics.
Jeez. Well,
terrible.
you gotta take antibiotics with food, otherwise you'll have an upset tummy.
I actually never knew that. I don't really take antibiotics.
Oh,
I don't.
maybe it was on your frog poison kick.
I do like oregano and garlic and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
I know.
All right. Well, on that note,
And combo. So.
what is combo?
Frog poison.
Oh, okay. Yes, I know about that one. My little witch bitch. Aren't they? Didn't you tell me that they're coming out with a remake of Practical Magic?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, they are. Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock have both signed on. I am so excited. You do not understand. I still watch this movie like at least once a month.
I love that movie.
I love this movie.
I love that movie so much.
So excited.
We should watch it together.
Oh my God, we should.
Yeah, let's
Do you have a witch hat? I have a witch hat. I'll
I
bring
don't.
it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, I
bring it.
get one on Amazon.
I'll bring it.
Okay.
There's some good ones. I have a really cute one I've been dying to wear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get our witchiness on. And then we will be back for our bonus content. Make sure to tune in.